Well, you're not in the Dominican Republic. I'm not in Miami, so this is different.
Yep.
But it's still Fridays with Freddie. So Fred, we're here in Chicago together doing some work on some technology we're building, but I thought it'd be good to just shoot right here live. We're continuing our series on the future of the IT shop. Take us away from there.
Well, I think actually one of the reasons why we're here, the project that we're working on, which we'll announce sometime in the future, very exciting stuff.
60 days, 90 days?
But which got me thinking, and we spoke about this a little bit in our previous podcast, which is, how do you staff an IT department?
Yeah.
So one of the things that we're doing, we're working on a fairly big project, but we're being very flexible in who we bring in. We have a core team,
Yeah.
and then we have circles around it of expertise that we bring in. Now, obviously, getting consultants is not an unusual thing to do in an IT shop, especially if you're doing Workday implementations, PeopleSoft implementation,
Sure.
etc. But I think there is also room to start hiring people through Upwork, people through Fiverr, I believe it's called, for shorter term engagements.
So you're saying the IT shop of the future in higher ed will have considered and dabbled with, and to some extent gotten really good at, bringing in highly specialized labor for short bursts of time to get things done.
Right, because, in one of the podcasts, and I got some comments about that, was like, Fred, I really can't hire people.
Hiring freeze, yeah.
Right, I have a hiring freeze, I can't hire people, I can't offer them more money, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I think one of the points that I made last time was, then you got to start thinking outside of the box.
It's your job to solve for that.
Right, it's your job to solve for that, and I think there's ways to do it, right? I myself have hired people in a complete hiring freeze.
While you worked in higher ed.
While I worked in higher ed. And people were amazed, well, how are you able to hire people and I can't?
Yeah.
I mean, one of the keys is you gotta be flexible, and you gotta work on your job. Then becomes, okay, how do I make that business case?
Yeah.
Right. And part of that is a little bit political, but I think it's possible. But I think now, why do I want to talk about this today? Because we've again encountered some clients where the feedback that we received was, well, I'm having a hard time hiring.
Yeah.
But if we provide options, well, how about you get some temporary resources, or reclassify people, or what about getting interns?
Or kind of like you had suggested before, combine two roles into one. Now you have $150,000 to spend on a salary.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Right. And people just have a hard time with that, right? Mm-hmm. Because the dominant mode in higher education is you interview somebody and your hope is they're going to be with you for the next 20 years.
Yeah.
Well, that time is gone. And I think we spoke about that.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
That time is gone. But I think the project that we're working on here in Chicago, I think that kind of proved to me again, it's an effective model. You can get resources in, you work with them for a short period of time, have them train you on certain things, upskill you, and now you have expertise that you can get for fairly cheap. Basically.
I remember, what was it? It was some project I don't know, it was 3-4 months ago. You said, Joe, I found this resource and something that we were budgeted a lot of money for. I found it in Pakistan or something on a Fiverr or Upwork, and the guy was going to do it for 1/8 the price. You were like, that's too low, I got to pay you more. But it was really, really excellent work, better than you were expecting.
Yes.
So a highly capable person living several countries away.
Yeah.
But you proved that it's possible and doable. The question I have for you real quick, and then I want to switch to another topic with you is, what would the obstacles be for a CIO or director of IT or a hiring manager in an IT shop from being able to do it? Could HR just say, no, you can't do that. You can't hire one-off labor for a 40-hour project at $40 an hour?
Well, so some of it has to do with where your buckets of money are, right?
Okay.
What are you allowed to hire for? So it's entirely possible that the budget allocated for a permanent resource cannot be reallocated to temporary resources.
Right.
For example, usually a CIO or an IT department in general will have a certain amount allocated for consulting.
Yeah.
But you need to have very specific projects for that consultant. I think it would be harder to, and this is what I'm saying. So if structurally there is a departmental rule or institutional
Yeah.
rule that prevents you from hiring people on retainer, which is what we do, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We have people on retainer. Some months we use you, some months we don't.
Yeah.
If that's an obstacle, then that becomes your job. How do I change? How do I
solve
build a business case to bring on staff like that? That's one obstacle, and the other, not an obstacle, but the other thing that you really need to take, make sure you cover is these people will be potentially working with sensitive data. So you need to go through the regular,
All the normal stuff.
the onboarding. Don't give them data they shouldn't have access to. But if you take care of those two things, I think it's possible.
So, and again, every institution's different. No two are exactly the same. But a CIO could also say, okay, maybe this year I can't because of how things got budgeted.
Yeah.
But you can think to the future of your shop and go, okay, but next year I'm going to recast for less full-time, a little bit more consulting, a little bit more part-time.
Yeah.
Try and get that through, make the business case for it
Yeah.
in my next budget so that I'm better prepared next time around.
Yeah, and look, we fully recognize that, especially if you're in an area like Workday or PeopleSoft or SAP or Banner, it doesn't matter what system you're using, it's highly specialized.
Yeah.
It's not that easy to wrap your head around. So even if you are, for example, a very experienced student financials person or
Yeah.
financial aid person,
Yeah.
the way the organization does business is always different, right? So there is a ramp-up time. Obviously, we
Yeah.
understand that. But you can plan for that and you can build for that by making sure that you understand how your business works. You have the right documentation, you have the right training material so that somebody can onboard fairly quickly. But again, I don't always want to go back to the enterprise applications. Really, what I'm saying is, for example, right now with generative AI, with how to build models, how to use models, how to build a RAG or agents, et cetera. That's such specialized knowledge.
Yeah.
That you could bring somebody in for a month and upskill your entire org fairly quickly.
And it doesn't have to be a $400 an hour consultant,
Nope.
right?
No.
There's resources for a tenth of that price.
Yeah, no, the resource,
who are incredibly capable.
Exactly, the resource that we use, for example, the one in Pakistan, this was for an enterprise architecture job,
Yep.
right? So we had a project where it's like, right, we need to create all these enterprise architecture
Drawings.
the drawings, the diagrams, but we had the knowledge.
Yeah.
We knew where everything needed to go. We didn't have the tools. Well, in a way we do, but we didn't have the specialized tools.
And you don't have the time to sit there and
And
draw
at
it
the
all
times,
out.
you're right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
this
we
guy
had
did it for a great fee.
for dollars on the for pennies on the dollar.
All right. So the point being, some of the thoughts and ideas you've given may not solve someone's immediate problem today, but certainly going into the next budget year or the budget year after that,
Yeah.
there's work that can be done now. There's a business case that can be made. There's strategic adjustments you can make to prepare your shop for the future. And I think that's what our point is, right? The point
That's
is,
it, yeah.
just don't rinse and repeat, copy and paste every year into the next year and then expect something to change. Do something different now and start moving the ship in a different direction because you're going to have to for the IT shop of the future.
Yeah, and by the way, it could also mean get more interns, get more students,
Yeah.
especially the students.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of because you need fresh blood. You can't have
Yeah, one of our
departments-
favorite CIOs right here in Chicago has like a small army of students.
Right.
And it comes with a set of issues, it comes with a set of headaches, but he's figured out how to solve for that.
Exactly.
And he's getting a lot of work done.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, so Fridays with Freddie. Thanks, Fred. We'll see you all next week.
Thank you.